Well, welcome to the next edition of the Sports with Luke podcast. I am here with my wonderful, beautiful bride, Taylor. Taylor, how you doing?
I'm good.
What did we just get done doing?
We just got done. We went on a hot date to Olive Garden.
And by hot, I mean Taylor still wore her scrubs that she wears,
Yeah.
so that was real hot.
Yeah. Wore my dental school scrubs and went and had some unlimited breadsticks and salad.
Nice. So Taylor, for everyone that's listening, tell them what you're doing right now. What are you doing for school?
Well, right now, I am in my first year at the University of Iowa College of Dentistry, and I'm almost halfway through my first semester. So.
When did you know that you wanted to be a dentist? Or wanted to, thought you liked teeth or something?
I've always liked math and science. So when I was looking at the career builder things that we had to do for school, it always said something about like medicine or doctor or something like that. But most people that know me know that large amounts of blood and needles don't work very well with me. I'll pass out easily. So being a doctor or a surgeon or something like that wouldn't really work. So I just kept looking for options that were in the medical field but not necessarily requiring things like that. And dentistry was one of those. And so I decided to shadow like some dentists in my hometown, and I just really liked it. I never got bored while I was shadowing. I just thought it was awesome, and yeah, so it just kept my interest throughout my entire childhood and up to now.
All right, so you knew going into your undergrad that you had to have a basic biology degree. When it came to the application process, were you ever nervous that you weren't going to get into a school?
Yes.
You actually were?
I was 100% nervous all the time. Because in undergrad, they like prepare you that obviously like having a high GPA is really important. And it's just like everything in your undergrad years leads up to you getting into your professional school. So even if you you might not have the best GPA, but like it's also the other things outside of your classes that are really important. And it was always everything. It was always building up to getting into dental school. So yeah, just my entire undergrad career, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm sure I've told you this before, but I knew deep down that there was no way that you were not going to get into a school. I just knew that you were going to get in.
Well, that's what everyone says, but like when you're going through it, it's a different thing because like me knowing the stats, like how few of spots there are in dental schools, because med schools, it's hard to get into med schools, but there are even fewer dental schools across the nation. So it's like there's even fewer spots to get in. And even here at the University of Iowa, like the med school has 120 students in their freshman class, and we have 80 students. So like even with the amount of med schools that there are across the nation, like there's fewer dental schools, but also there's fewer spots in those. Mm-hmm. So like going through that and personally knowing like I have to get into one of those spots in order to continue it, that's really...
Luckily we don't have to worry about it anymore. But well, then also this, what would you have done if you didn't get into a school?
I think I would have...
But yeah, thank God we don't have to worry about that.
I don't know. I think I would have taken most like pre-professional students, well, I won't say most, but some take what's called a gap year. And so instead of, like, for me, I started applying to schools. I took my DAT in the summer of after my junior year, so going into my senior year. And so after I took my DAT, I could then apply to professional school. But some, like, students choose to take a gap year, so they don't apply until after their senior year. And so then they won't start until...
Gotcha. So it would, yeah.
So I probably would have done that, and then I probably would have just continued shadowing.
Getting as much experience as you can.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
So, you got in, and then I'm sure you read up or you had people tell you about what to kind of expect.
Mm-hmm.
What is something that you did expect and you're going through now, and what is something that you didn't expect or didn't know that was going to be an actual thing, or that big of a deal, or not as big of a deal as...
Yeah. I would say, okay, so something that I did expect coming into it, that hasn't necessarily been true up to this point. The admissions and, like, students that we meet during the interview process always say that it's like an 8 to 5 job. Like, once you start dental school, it's like 8 to 5. And that hasn't really been true up to this point. Like, it's getting more towards that, but for the most part, my days, I might have like 5 hours of class during the day, but I have yet to have a full 8 to 5 day. Yeah. Now, it's getting more towards that, like towards the end of the semester when I'm in full swing and all of my classes are started. But at the beginning of the semester, I was like having whole days where I didn't have class, or days where I had one class in the morning and then didn't have anything else. So yeah, that's one thing that I kind of expected, but it's not happening yet. I do know once I come back from Christmas break, it is 100% 8 to 5. Yeah. Something that, what was the other question?
What did you expect and what didn't you expect?
What I didn't expect is that how, like, self-teaching dental school is. We still have to take the basic science classes like physiology and biochem, but my physiology class is 100% you have to teach yourself. There's no lecture section. They just give us PowerPoint slides over the material, and then we just have to teach it ourselves. And they'll have like little review sessions throughout the week, but it's 100% we have to teach ourselves. And then also, like, in my dental classes, we'll start learning a new technique or something like that, and instead of like showing us a step-by-step of how to do it, they'll just say, okay, go, like, you can, like, just start. And we're all just like, we don't know what we're doing. So yeah, that's something that I did not expect at all.
What's one thing that people probably don't know about teeth?
Oh my.
Or just about dental something, or something that you learned that you didn't know before?
Let's see. Well, I've learned a lot about, like, the tooth structure, and just, like, how each tooth, like, you think that it, like, all teeth look the same, but there's so many different characteristics of each tooth, and how there can be differences, like, different diseases, or different, not necessarily diseases, but abnormalities for each specific tooth. Mm-hmm. Coming into dental school, which this does not sound very promising for a future dentist, but, like, I thought that every tooth had like 4 roots, or like I thought, but there's no teeth that have 4 roots at all. Like there's none. So yeah, that was kind of embarrassing once I learned that. And then I just learned today, fun fact, that so our saliva has a self-cleansing mechanism to it. So
you're saying I don't even need to brush my teeth?
No. You really need to brush your teeth. No. But it has self-cleaning mechanisms to where the inside of our teeth, and it's called the lingual portion because it's by your tongue.
I get it.
And that is more, it's always cleaner because the saliva, like our salivary glands, our saliva comes out and is more like prominent it normally stays in the inside of our teeth.
Gotcha.
It doesn't quite make it all the way to the outside all the time. So it doesn't clean that as often. But at night, your salivary like secretion decreases, so it doesn't have like as much cleaning. So if you have like a sweet treat right before you go to bed, it's really important that you brush your teeth at night, because that will start to erode at your teeth, and the saliva isn't being secreted at as high of levels, so it's not being able to clean that off by itself. So that's why it's so important to brush your teeth at night as well, because of that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. Brush your teeth at night.
Brush your teeth.
So now I want to talk about us and about how.
No, I have a question for you.
Ooh.
Okay. So being the spouse of a dental student, what are things that you expected, and what are things that like you did not expect about the experience?
Good question. What I expected was that like you said before, I expected you to be on campus 8 to 5, and so far that hasn't been the case. And it's been, I work from home, so like you don't have to be in class on campus till 11. Like it's nice that you're here, that you can come hang out for a sec while I work or whatever. So, and I kind of had the idea or the hunch that that most of the nights you'd be busy studying, so I kind of have to not like find my own fun, but just have to be okay with the fact that she's going to be studying from, like you'll get back sometimes at 5 o'clock and you'll hang out until about 6 and go and eat dinner, and then you'll be studying until we go to bed. So I don't know, that's probably the biggest thing that I have to like deal with, which it's not always fun, but I understand it. I'm not gonna try to pull you away, because dental school is pretty important.
Yeah, pretty important for our livelihood.
Yeah, but I can't think of anything that I haven't thought about that isn't now. But yeah, now let's talk about us and how we met. I don't know, did you get the chance to read my blog post about
I did.
how we met? Is there anything that you want to add or reiterate or clarify or take away, or just plead the fifth?
Let's see here. I would just like to let everyone know that the way that he illustrated this story is actually very, very close to how it went, but he didn't explain how awkward our first encounters were, our first date was. Not awkward, but just confusing.
Yeah, you're talking about formal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so we had played on the Cougar Falcons together, and just like totally been friends. We hung out, we had lunch dates, like
it wasn't just us. It was our group of friends,
everyone. But then, like a week before formal, now if anyone has ever been to a formal, they know that it is hard to find a formal dress in a week. But I did it. But yeah, so a week before formal, this senior, no, you were,
I was senior.
You were a senior. senior boy texts me and is like, hey, text me.
Right.
I remind you. Like, hey, do you want to go to formal? And I'm like, sure.
Well, I remember I said, like, oh, should you be just friends? Because I still couldn't get over the fact that it was senior freshman thing.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, so I guess I'm going to formal. So yeah, that kind of started. But then he talked to me, like, he texted me, like, every single day up till formal. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, if he just wanted to go as a date, like, he wouldn't be texting me every day. So that was interesting. But then when we went to formal, like, I thought it would be awkward and, like, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. But, like, from the start, we kind of just, like, got along really well. It helped that I had my best friend Emily, and her date was Andrew,
who was also in SAE.
And like she was there, so like we were really comfortable together, and yeah, it was just like it was a good start. And the dance was like going really well. We slow danced together. It was very romantic. No, but I was still kind of confused because I didn't know, because he had texted me all week and just didn't really know what was happening. But then, which I'm sure most of the Majerus clan, just knowing how this family works, when it comes to like 10 o'clock at night, Luke shuts down, like hardcore shuts down. And so the night of formal, it got to be maybe like 10:30, and all, like, he had been dancing and all this, and all of a sudden he is like a zombie, just like staring at the wall. And I'm like, oh no, did I do something? Like, now he's mad at me. Like, what did I do? You know, because I'm still trying to impress him. Like, it's a senior boy, you know, you're on a date with him. So I was trying to impress him. And now he's like all mad at me. So I was all confused. So that's how our night ended, with Luke just being a zombie. And so then I was thinking, he absolutely does not ever want to talk to me again. This is just going to be weird. But then he texted me the next day. And so...
because I liked it.
Yeah. And so I guess he had fun too. But yeah, you can't explain how weird this first situation was in our dating life. It was a weird a weird time for us.
Yeah, it was weird. And it was mostly my fault. Like, because I knew I liked you, but I'm like, I don't know, like, what if she doesn't like me back? And now it was me being dumb and being in my head.
Yeah, and now that we look back at it, we're like, that was so silly of us.
Yeah.
Because we did hit it off so good. Yeah.
All right, now, since this podcast is titled Sports with Luke, we need to talk about sports. Taylor, did you play sports in high school?
I did play sports.
How many sports did you play in high school?
I played 4.
How many?
I know where this is going, so.
How many of those sports were you the captain of?
I was a 4-sport captain.
No freaking way.
Yeah.
I hit the jackpot here.
Yeah.
How many years were you for each sport?
Like, in total?
Captain.
Oh, captain. Okay, so...
Like, was it just your senior year for all 4? Or?
No. It kind of varied. So, for volleyball, it started out my sophomore year.
You were captain as a sophomore?
Yeah. Well, okay, mind you, my school wasn't, like, the best at sports, so... But I started off my sophomore year. I believe, I don't remember. It was either my sophomore or my junior year that I got like all.
Oh, you're all conference?
Not all conference, but it was like all area player of the year.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like the Northwest Iowa region. And I think that might have been junior year. I don't remember exactly, but I started off, I wasn't a captain for the full sophomore year. Something had happened toward the end of the year where our captains couldn't be captains anymore. So I, like, they asked me to step in. And so it was like halfway sophomore year. Basketball, I think that was my junior and senior year. I was a 2-year captain. Most of the time our coach like let the seniors be captains, so but my junior year there was not very many seniors. So yeah, I don't remember exactly, but and then so that was basketball. Soccer, I believe we didn't really like have solid captains. It kind of changed. But that would have been just 1 year. That was just my senior year. Because the year before me had a really, really strong class of soccer players. So like, yeah, they were awesome. And then softball, we never really had captains because the coach would do all the like the coin toss and that kind of stuff. But anything that they needed captains for, they would just have like let seniors do it. There was only 2 of us my senior year, so we were captains, but yeah, we would have been captains anyway. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Out of all of those 4, which one were you the best at?
Volleyball, by far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one of those sports was your team the best at? Like, which team was your best team? And not just volleyball, any of the 4.
Okay, skill-wise, my soccer teams were always great. Great for our area. Like, we would always be Lakes Conference champs. And so yeah, we were always super good at soccer. The only issue is when we had to play teams that were outside of our region, because those teams got to play like really strong competition every year, like for every game. And so for us, we didn't get to play that strong competition. So whenever we had to go up against those teams, we kind of didn't do so good. But as a whole, soccer definitely.
So now going into not your sports anymore, but professional and collegiate, is there anyone that you follow, you like, root for?
Yeah.
Teams, people?
Yeah. Well, for college, I've always been a Tennessee Volunteer fan. Always will be. Being that I was born in Tennessee, my mom lived there her whole life. Megan was born in Tennessee too. It's just, that's what you do. You just love the Vols. Yeah, you root for the Vols.
Even though they're having a disappointing football season this year.
Yeah. Well, that's most years, but yeah. So I had a dream to play for Pat Summitt in basketball, but then that didn't quite happen. I decided to become a dentist.
You were too good to play for the Volunteers.
Yeah, something like that. No, not even close. And then professionally, I always, for WNBA, I go for, I'm kind of torn now because I feel like I should cheer for the Lynx because of you and you being a Minnesota fan, but because of the Tennessee Volunteers, I am a huge Candace Parker fan, and so I always cheer for the Sparks.
Well, that's one thing that I can respect you liking them, because you actually have a reason to go like them, whereas you don't care much about football or baseball or basketball, where you you end up rooting for all Minnesota because I root for Minnesota.
Yeah. And I would say, like, NBA, I'm kind of a bandwagoner. Not, like, super bad, but I started cheering for, like, Steph Curry before I started cheering for the Golden State Warriors, because I just think him as a person, like, his values, not being afraid to speak out about his faith, I think, like, that's really awesome, and he has a great platform, so I want to, like, support that. So I would say that he is one of my favorite players, and then by default I started cheering for Golden State, but it's not like I watch every game or anything like that. It's just like, if it's on, that's who I'm kind of biased towards.
All right, last thing. So I think this is day 25, 26 of my 100-day challenge. Do you think I'm going to make it?
Yeah.
You do?
Was that a question? Yeah. I thought you said, I think I'm going to make it.
Do you think I'm going to make it?
I think you're going to make it.
Yeah? And luckily you...
Because I don't think that I will let you not make it.
That's what a good wife does.
No, I think it's... Do you think you're going to make it?
I always think I do, but then there's times like, what if I just skip a day or two?
Yeah, and that's...
And usually if I ever get that thought, I'll just go to you and say, you know what, Tay, I think I'm going to skip, and then you'll say, no, don't.
No,
you just do
and the reason why I say that is because deep down, I think you want to make it.
Yeah.
I think you want to prove to yourself that you can do 100 days, and I think if I would be like, oh yeah, I think it's fine, just go ahead, take a day off, and then you would get to the end and be like, crap, I didn't make it. Like, you would be so disappointed. So I think, I think you'll make it. Yeah. I mean, every day might not be a wonderful podcast with your beautiful wife, but
I will say, hands down, the best looking podcast guest I've had so far, which you got competition against Jake and Kyle, so it's pretty tough.
Sorry, Jake and Kyle.
Well, that wraps it up for the third Sports Loop podcast ever. Thank you, Tay, for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with me.
Thank you for sitting on the couch and talking with me.